guys, welcome back to dressyourfacelive.com. Thank you guys so much for hanging in there. I don't know if you guys follow me on Snapchat, but for those of you who may not know, I've been super unwell and I did not want to cancel this class for the life of me, so I managed to get here. Nothing's contagious, but that's kind of why I'm in gypsy mode. I had absolutely no energy to do my hair, so I just slapped on some conditioner. I literally have a shower cap on and I'm like baking in here, so hopefully after class I can just rinse it and be done and feel a little bit better. You know, sometimes when you wash your hair and do these nice things, it makes you feel better on the inside too, so let's see if it works for me. But anyway, I definitely did not want to cancel or postpone this class because you guys gave us such an amazing response on Instagram. And in fact, people are recognizing her in LA. It's so funny. Like, I love that. Your face is everywhere. And if you guys saw on my Instagram too, I had posted another look that we did together that went super viral, and all these magazines and all these online like crazy blogs featured her face when we had done her flower contour tutorial. So that was really fun. Very happy to have her back. She does not live in LA. Come on, let's everyone beg her to move here because she is a huge hit. Anyway, so we're gonna go ahead and get started, and I hope you guys forgive me. I'm requesting if we can skip out on the Q&A after class, only because it is Ramadan. I do have to rush home to break fast with the family, and I'm also not feeling my best right now, but what I'll try to do to make up for it, of course, is to have a lengthier Q&A for the next class. And I kind of already know what kind of questions you guys have based on our other classes together. So I'll be answering a lot of your questions throughout the duration of this class based on what I remember from the top of my head, things that you guys have asked in the past. I'll definitely go over that. So I hope you're not mad at me. I hope that's okay if we can just do a lengthier Q&A next time if I'm feeling better. And then we can all just go to breaking your guys' fast and everything after class. So anyways, this is going to be a very high updo tutorial. We're gonna go ahead and zoom in now so I can show you some basically just from the neck up, and the hairdo is gonna be right around here. So we're gonna crop the screen so you can really get a closer look at what I'm doing and how I'm teasing, because I know a lot of you have that question. How do you tease so that it really holds well and it doesn't look super rough? So I'm gonna go over all that stuff with you guys today. First, I'm gonna talk to you guys about the tools that we're going to be using. So I like to prep my model's hair with my favorite brush in the whole wide world. This is the Layla Milani Miracle Brush, this one right here. And I'm just gonna turn Angeli around so I can just give her a nice smooth brushing of her hair just to prep it. It's all gonna go back. Now I know in the tutorial, the highlights video that I posted on Instagram, we purposely left out a bunch of secret steps in there. I know it looks like that's the whole way of doing that hair. And I'm sure if you try really hard, you can get it. But there's a lot of secret steps in there that I'm basing this class on that you guys should definitely catch on to. Notice that her hair is not super thick. It's not super thin either. This is, you know, a good average amount of hair here. But we're not going to be using any type of extensions. We're not going to be using any type of stuffers in her hair. We're just going to be using our teasing techniques to create a huge bun right on the top of her head. Now, one of the biggest struggles in creating such a high updo is how to create the ponytail so perfect so that not a hair is out of place. So I'm going to show you my secrets to creating the perfect ponytail as well. But before we get started, I want to show you what I'm going to do to prep her hair aside from brushing it. I'm using the Tamana straightening iron from BombayHair.com. It's found in the Tamana styling set. This entire thing is pretty amazing. It comes with an entire set of everything you'll need to do any hairstyle imaginable. And of course, this straightener is professional grade and it heats up to 450. It's pretty amazing. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to curve the second half of the hair so it has a nice little flip to it. It doesn't have to be super curly, it just needs to have a little flip to it. so that when I do create the bun, that the hair just slips right into place. So I'm gonna do that with all her hair right now. I'm just gonna slowly give it a nice flip at the ends. A little ring at the end, that's all we're gonna do here. And I'm also gonna make sure that her roots are super, super straight. Looking at her hair right now, it seems super straight, but if I do notice any roots at the bottom or at the edges that are a little bit messy, I'll go ahead and go really close with my straightening iron on those areas so that I can make sure that it's really smooth and really straight. So I'm just grabbing random pieces. You don't necessarily have to section the hair for this unless you have someone that has very, very thick hair. In that case, it might be better for you to section, but for normal to thin hair, you don't have to section. So I'm just gonna go around and grab random pieces and just curl the ends very easily. I'm going really slow. The slower you go and the smoother you go, the better the curl at the end. Remember, it doesn't have to be a total perfect curl. We just want a little flip at the end. So I'm just gonna give it a one-time curve and slowly work my way down. Sorry, there. And grab some pieces down here, do the same thing. Now, if you're working with someone with baby hairs, make sure you're getting those baby hairs as well. Grab this. Almost done. It shouldn't take more than 5 to 10 minutes to prep the hair. Okay. Now I'm gonna just do a quick check on the perimeter of her hair, meaning all the edges, the hairline pieces, the baby hairs. I'm just grabbing little pieces at a time and going very close and curving it back so that this is all super, super straight. Same with the bottom, the nape of the neck right in here. I wanna make sure that all this is very straight. So I'm just gonna pull it back. We'll do the same on the other side as well. Whoopsie. Making sure that this perimeter is super straight. No loose baby hairs. Okay, the nape looks pretty good. So that means we're all ready to start designing the ponytail. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you guys a little secret of the perfect ponytail. Instead of gathering all the hair at once and then brushing it back, unless someone's hair is very thin, it can be a little tough because what's going to happen is there's going to be little bumps in the hair that's going to prevent it from being a perfect ponytail unless you really spend a lot of time. So I'm going to give you a time-saving technique. Section the hair first around the perimeter. I'm going to make a circle right along the crown of her hair. Okay, so that is a little circle on the crown of her hair, and I'm going to start off by doing a ponytail here. So first thing I'm going to do is just to get the hair to really just stay put and not get too crazy and too silky. If the hair is too silky, it's not going to stay put. So there's one other secret that I want to show you before I actually do the ponytail. So I'm going to clip some of her hair away. Okay. And I'm going to use one of my favorite teasing combs. This is also from Layla Milani Hair. And I'm just gonna do a little bit of teasing, nothing too crazy. Just gonna do a little bit of teasing and spraying at the root. This is gonna prevent the hair from slipping while I'm trying to create the perfect ponytail. If the hair is too silky and too slippery, the ponytail may not hold very tight. So now that I did some preliminary teasing, I can go ahead and gather all the hair and use any boar hair bristle brush. This I got from Daiso. And I'm going to create a very, very clean, perfect ponytail with this little circle of hair here. I'm going to spray all this hair so that it gets very strong. And now I'm going to use my actual comb to make sure there are no bumps in the hair whatsoever. Once you create a very clean, perfect ponytail, you're going to go ahead and fasten it with a rubber band or a hair tie. And now that part is done. Now you'll notice bringing up the rest of the hair is going to be a lot easier. So what we'll do is we'll start off section by section and making sure that all this hair is brought up into this original ponytail really perfectly with no bumps. So again, just going in section by section. And adding it to the original pony. And every time you grab some hair, make sure you're giving it a little bit of a spray so that it doesn't slip. And we can gather that in. Now working a little lower and lower until we reach the whole bottom. I'm going to use the boar hair bristle brush to make sure no bumps arise. And don't forget to spray. And now the final lower piece. And we can bring in the top piece. So this is where all the hair comes together. And we're going to brush it all really clean and really strong. And there's going to be no bumps because we went through every single section of hair to make sure it was perfect. Make sure you spray really generously. Especially on the baby hairs. And you can see how clean and beautiful this looks. It's very important when you're doing a high updo that there's absolutely no hair out of place. So if that means spraying a lot on the baby hairs, then you just have to do it. Beautiful. Look at that. Perfect pony. Okay? So let's start working on the sides, making sure the sides are just as perfect. We're going to do some spraying here. And we're going to comb right into the ponytail. Make sure you're spraying to ensure a very, very perfect sweep in your hair. And we're going to work on the other side, and then lastly we'll work on the top. So with enough hairspray, the hair will cooperate. Spray, spray, spray. Make sure you're getting really close. By the way, in case you've never seen another hair class of mine, this is my favorite hairspray. It's Tresemme number 5, the strongest hold hairspray. And I'm just making sure that all this hair is perfectly gathered. Not a hair out of place. Everything's got to look amazing before we move on to the next step. At this point, I'm going to remove the first rubber band. So now all her hair is together, nothing's going to be caught, everything can be in one solid rubber band. And I'm just going to go in and make sure everything is perfectly in place one last time. Beautiful. Look at that. And anything that seems a little dry or a little loose, because we really need it to be like perfect, don't be afraid to keep putting on more hairspray. This type of do really requires everything to be in place and everything to look as perfect as possible. Nothing should be lopsided and nothing should be loose. So as you guys can imagine, the ponytail is the most treacherous part of a high bun. But without a perfect ponytail, you're not going to get the perfect updo, especially when it looks like that. Okay, so now you can see it's a very, very clean ponytail. I do want to do a final spray and a comb through in the back. And then you can go ahead and fasten the hair. If any little baby hairs come out, if they're shorter than where you're tying the hair, then it's okay. You can always just spray it afterward and tuck it in. Okay, so now that this ponytail is done, I'm going to go ahead and make sure that all the baby hairs are tucked in perfectly. So yet another round of hairspray. More combing upward, making sure the baby hairs are in. And then I know a lot of you did see the Instagram tutorial that I put up for this hair, the quick 1-minute version that doesn't have a lot of the steps, but I did show how to cover up the hairline using eyeshadow. So that is something that I do, even if I'm just doing a ponytail, even if it's just a loose updo. If I see any scalp, I do tend to want to cover it up. So having eyeshadow or brow powder or something along those lines to really cover up any type of skin showing, that's one of the best techniques. Awesome. So here is the perfect ponytail. Everything looking very clean and very spotless. Amazing. Final spray for the baby hairs. Awesome. So now here's the part that is going to require a whole lot of teasing. Now I'm going to give you a good side view so you guys can see how I pick up the hair and how I tease. I'm going to use the Layla Milani teasing comb. And I'm going to start with the very, very top section, but I'm not going to overly tease this section. I just want to tease a little bit on the base of this section, all the way to the tip. Keep in mind, I'm not rat's nesting the entire piece of hair. I'm just giving it a little bit of strength and fluff by teasing the inside of it. Once you're done with the teasing, spray and set aside. Now that I'm done with that very top section, I'm going to start working my way in, and I'm going to start teasing the crap out of the hair, meaning we're going to rat's nest it. So take a look. I'm literally creating a nest, a hairball within her own hair. And I want to make this as big as possible. So if that means teasing on both sides, then you do it. Okay? So now this thing is done. We're going to spray and keep moving our way down. The Layla Milani teasing brush, teasing comb, does make it a lot easier to tease. But if the hair is very silky, I get this question a lot. If the hair is very silky, try putting a little hairspray in the hair first and then teasing again so that it'll actually hold. And we're going to keep working our way down. Really going crazy with the teasing. Make sure when you're teasing, you're pushing that tease all the way down until the comb cannot go further down. And remember, after every section, you just have to spray to make sure it doesn't loosen up. Another section. I'm going to go really crazy. And this is why you don't necessarily need a stuffer or hair extensions. If you're going to do this kind of teasing, you're actually creating a stuffer using your client's own hair. And you don't have to have a lot of hair to do this. You just have to have enough hair. So if your client's hair is super, super thin, then okay, I recommend having stuffers. having extensions and whatnot. But for average to thin hair, you'll be okay just using this technique. Okay, almost done. Just a few more sections to go. It's pretty cool. And it looks very scary in the beginning. My clients who've seen themselves in the mirror during this process are like, oh my God, this is gonna be a pain to brush off. And by the way, to those of you who are probably asking now, how do you get rid of the teasing? How does your client wash it off without damaging the hair? Because yes, teasing can be a very damaging thing, especially when you're trying to brush it out. And the answer is, there's a couple of different ways you can do this. Try to brush out as gently as possible whatever you can with a very gentle brush like the Leila Milani one, by starting off at the ends very softly and then working your way higher and higher and higher. That's how you detangle the hair. But if it's just not working, if you don't want to pull your hair too strong, and if it's just not coming out, then just do what you can do, but use conditioner in the shower, and that's going to let the hair slip out a lot easier. All right, last couple of pieces. Tease like crazy. Bring it all up into a crazy rat's nest ball type of situation. The messier, the better. Don't worry, it's all going to be hidden under the bun. And last piece. If any of the hair still looks and feels super silky inside the tease, then just get in and tease some more on those silky areas. Don't let any of the hair be super straight and perfect inside a tease. It's going to end up slipping the whole thing out. See how I just kind of made a ball here? So that's what the goal is. Okay, so now that all the teasing is done, this is how she looks like. It's pretty wild. I mean, it's like more than pretty wild. It's like, you want to look at yourself? It's you look like you've been electrocuted, no joke. All right, so at this point, I'm going to bring down the teasing section at a time. I'm going to kind of just start thinking of gathering it up. I'm going to spread it into a nice big bun and just try to make it work here. And remember, the top part we did not overly tease. The top part's still significantly smoother looking than the rest of it. So at this point, I'm going to gather this entire ball of head right here, and I'm going to put my arm underneath so that it doesn't mess up her ponytail. And I'm going to softly, very, very softly, brush the surface of the hair. Very softly. I don't want to mess up the ponytail, so what I have is either you can put your arm under it as an anchor, or what I'm doing is I'm holding onto this rubber band, like I'm circling around it. Wait, I'll let you see it better. I put my hand here like a cup, and I'm just pulling the very, very surface pieces and smoothing them out. Okay, now that that's been smoothed, I'm going to give it a little spray. We can smooth some more later if we need to. But right now, we got to spray it to start assembling the bun. If anything looks too rough, just go in and brush it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna have you take a look at the back. This is what it looks like. It's a big ball. And basically what we're gonna end up doing in a moment, not right now, but we're gonna roll this up and clip it underneath with some bobby pins to create like the perfect bun right there. But right now I wanna show you one thing, and that is we do not want this rubber band to show in the front. So what we have to do is take a few pieces of the hair on the surface. And so I'm just gonna split this real quick. And we're gonna have to pin it to, to the front of the rubber band so it hides it. So here's my bobby pin. And I'm just taking some sections of hair. Maybe I'll turn her a little bit this way. Okay, that's good. And see how the rubber band's right there? I'm flipping forward. I'm flipping some of the hair forward. Just some of the hair, not all the hair. And I'm gonna bobby pin it in front of that rubber band so that it hides it. So a lot of this work is like blind work. You just kind of have to feel where to stick it in and you just go for it. Okay, so now we have a perfect meeting between pony and bun with no rubber band showing. From here, now we can start spraying and gathering that hair to create the perfect bun. So I'll turn you this way, perfect right there. A very, very smooth surface brushing. Okay. Right along the top. I don't want to see any mess inside. That rat's nest has to be very much camouflaged. We cannot see any of it. We do not want to see any of it in the bun. It must be covered. All right. So once you think that you've gotten enough smooth pieces to cover all the rough pieces, now we can start gathering all this hair and creating a really nice bun. So I'm just gathering all this hair. We're gonna spray it in place so that it doesn't move while I'm trying to clip it. And depending on how high your client wants it, I mean, you could even do this to yourself. This is a very easy updo to do on yourself, as long as you get that ponytail perfect. But you would determine how high you want to go, and you can actually adjust it as you're creating this bun. So right now what I'm doing is I'm just looking, let me turn you around so you see what I see. I'm looking at any lopsided areas, and I'm just going in and picking them out. I want everything perfect here, everything. And especially when someone has highlights, sometimes you can see the roughness more, so you have to make sure that it doesn't look too rough. Okay. It does require you to be a little bit of a perfectionist. You definitely never want a bride to have a rough-looking bun. Okay, so once one of the sides starts to look pretty perfect, You can start gathering it and curving it into a ball. And I'm just going to make sure that all this lands over the hair perfectly. See how I'm just kind of working these front pieces? I want it to fan back in a nice rounded manner. Okay. All right, now that we're ready to gather, I'm gonna put her in an angle right there, yeah. And you guys can see how I smooth the hair into the final bun. So there is a lot of back and forth required until you really find the perfect balance in the hair. Keep letting your spray help you to achieve it. And once you're ready, you're going to gather all the hair right at the base. Making sure that there's no knots inside, that you're pushing it up into a round ball, basically. I am using my nails to help me, but if you do not have pointy nails like mine, you can absolutely use the end of a teasing comb. And I'm curving the ends of the hair. You can do a little twist and stick it right into the bun. And you're going to use a bobby pin to secure it right at the base. Okay? Make sure you're using a few different bobby pins just to make sure it doesn't move around while your bride is dancing or anything like that. But what I do in the beginning is I just put one so that I can then look around and arrange the hair to make sure that it's a perfect circle. And then once I'm very happy with it, then I can go ahead and add the rest of the bobby pins in to make sure that it's like perfect. And this is where it's still kind of movable and moldable, so you can really just create a good balance here. And once you're happy, you go ahead and secure all the different angles. Make sure nothing moves at all. Any areas that are loose or rough, go ahead and give it a nice tucking in. Beautiful. All right, so I'm gonna give you a full 360 turn of what it looks like, and then I'm gonna show you how I apply the headpiece and the veil. So you definitely wanna make sure that it's super big, super voluminous, and very, very symmetrical and kind of princess-like. Really nice, like a big ball right on top of the hair. So now that the hair is done, let's go ahead and start adorning her with some jewels. All right, let's see what I got here. Ooh, I have my scarf, which I'll let you hold on to. And if I can find, there it is. Okay, so here's the headpiece that I'll put on her. So you definitely just want to make sure that all the little baby hairs are out of the way first, and since we really mess with our hair a lot during this process, I'm just going to give a final spray down, and we're going to make sure that all of it is super flat and that no baby hairs come in the way of the jewelry. Okay. Now we're going to align the jewelry right on her. Go ahead and hold up one side. Perfect. Now we're gonna just use regular bobby pins. And what I love about this high updo is that it's very easy to apply jewelry to it because all you have to do is lift up the side and hide the edge of the headband. And you're just gonna use a bobby pin right through the jewelry piece, and then the hair ends up covering it and you're good to go. So same with the other side. Thank you. Make sure it's on the same level. Lift up the bun, stick the bobby pin right through it, and if there's a string, you're gonna gather that string and hide it within the updo. Now the bun covers it right up. And she has a very, very perfect headpiece look. Now for the veil. The veil is also going to be super easy because the edges are going to be hidden right into the updo. So what I usually like to do for the veil, if the updo is really high, I stick the veil right under the bun and I let it drape on the sides like this. If someone needs the veil to be right over everything, then this is another option. And you could just fasten the veil around the edges or just put a couple bobby pins right on the sides here. But normally with such a high bun like this, depending on the type of event that it is, I would think that it would look so much better if it's just right behind the bun. So we're just going to use bobby pins to fasten the veil right along the side of her. So the place to fasten a veil is right on the border because that's the strongest part of such a thin veil like this. If you use a bobby pin only in the thinner parts, it could rip. So you want to make sure that you're putting the bobby pin through the actual border. And that's it. It's super, super easy and very glamorous and gorgeous. So now, just to close this class, I'm going to give you a final 360 turn view of her hairstyle. Just absolutely stunning. You can see how the veil just hides right inside that big bun. You could literally just do anything. The only type of veil that I would not put underneath is a very, very heavy veil, because it's gonna weigh her back and it's gonna really just bother her throughout the day. But for light veils like this, I just love it when my brides come with light veils, because then we have so many different options to work with. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this class. It's pretty simple as long as you get the hang of it. I think a lot of you guys can do this at home. If you guys do decide to do this at home, definitely give us a tag, hashtag dressyourfacelive.com. Just hashtag dressyourfacelive actually. The .com won't even show up on the hashtag, but you could do it, it's not a big deal. And we'll go ahead and go through it and like your posts, and I can just make sure that you're doing it right. Again, the big key component to this look are two things: a perfect ponytail and a whole lot of teasing. And then of course, making sure that the top is really smooth and you have that kind of time to really put it together in a nice, perfect round so that everything else just looks super, super symmetrical. All right? So we will say bye at this point. Thank you guys for watching. I had a great time doing it, and tomorrow on my Instagram, I'll show you the makeup part of the tutorial. I know you guys loved the makeup. I've shown a lot of very similar styles on DYFL, so it's up to you. If you guys want me to do it on DYFL, I can. I'll add it to the schedule, but for now, I'll do a 1-minute version for Instagram so you guys can at least get the hang of it and start practicing, okay? Thank you guys. Mwah. Bye.